this one. This one, oh my god, welcome everyone. I am Brian, you are Chords and Notes Nation. We are in my living room, have a seat. We're going to sit down. This is a 12-minute and 29-second long song, The Necromancer, off of Caress of Steel by Rush. This is one of those songs that... This was the first Rush album that I purchased. The very first Rush song I ever heard was Working Man. Okay, so that's from their very first album. Self-titled album in 1974, but I heard that on the radio for the first time and I thought, this is amazing. This was another Jimmy Page to me because I had just discovered Led Zeppelin and Jimmy Page. And Alex Lifeson, admittedly, Jimmy Page was one of his biggest influences. But what Alex Lifeson wound up doing over the course of his career is discovering his own musical voice, and he always had it, but he was more closely aligned compositionally with Jimmy Page in the earlier days. So this is one of those that is probably closer to a Jimmy Page style of playing, but this is really one of those where Rush starts to create these fantasy epic songs. And so in order to do that, you've got to have some sort of creativity going into these longer pieces. Otherwise, it can just be very dull and drab and boring. And I think having that being a part of the band, being a part of their musical philosophy early on, forced them into becoming storytellers with their instruments. And being able to, when you have different sections of a song that you have to tie together that have different meanings and different, like different chapters, but they have to all come together to make a whole piece, you've got to be able to do things a little bit differently. And so here the creativity starts to come in. Now, the first one that on this playlist that I featured with Alex was Cygnus X1, and that was a good step in the right direction. I think this one is a really good example of that, but it's a longer piece, and there are so many memories attached to this album and this song for me. This is gonna be truly nostalgic. So enjoy this. Please check out the description box below for ways to follow me outside of whatever platform you're viewing me on. I am on multiple platforms and I have many different things that I do. Plus, there are ways to support the channel and get Chords and Notes merch as well. All right, here we go. So this is the Necromancer. This is going to be a story, more or less, kind of like in the vein of Lord of the Rings, where there's the evil Dark Lord, and then there's there's these three travelers that are trying to break out of his spell, and those three travelers, metaphorically, are these three gentlemen. There's always, Neil, when he wrote the lyrics, there was always, with these fantasies, it was either allegoric or metaphorical. So that's the basic gist of it. You'll get it, but here we go. I really love this song. Subtleties of the guitar that he's doing. And it does fade in.
As gray traces of dawn tinge the eastern sky, the three travelers, men of Willowdale, emerge from the forest shadow. Fording the river Dawn, they turn south, journeying into the dark and forbidding lands of the Necromancer. Even now, the intensity of his dread power can be felt, weakening the body and saddening the heart. Ultimately, they will become empty, mindless specters. Stripped of will and soul, only their thirst for freedom gives them hunger for vengeance.
both of those guitar lines Alex is playing, and obviously these are different tracks. It's layered that way, so he's got that those nice arpeggiations. He's doing clean with some chorus, and then he's got some effect on the other guitar track that kind of makes it sound like it's kind of in reverse.
Shreds of black cloud loom in overcast skies. The Necromancer keeps watch with magic crucible eyes. He views all his lands and is already aware of the 3 helpless invaders trapped in his land.
This, to me, this next section is the most beautiful. Here we go. Oh, I love that arpeggio. Two, three, four.
Enter the champion. Prince Michael appears to battle for freedom from chains of long years. The spell has been broken. The dark lands are bright. The wraith of the Necromancer.
And the way Gettr sings this part coming up, so beautiful. Kind of fades out. So, yeah. Oh my God, that song will never, ever lose its appeal to me. Ever. Yeah, I was air drumming, and I know it's about guitar. But that's the band for me. Any true Rush fan is just immersed in all three instruments. So this most definitely was one of those songs for me. Like I said, when I first heard this album, this was my first album of Rush that I bought. It was a cassette tape. I was like, wow, this is like Jimmy Page. But then this song, especially when I was listening to it, and there's so many more on this album as well that help contribute to this, but I think this is the really good example song where it's like, yes, it sounds like Jimmy, but there's so much more going on here creatively that this guy is doing. and it made me hunger to want more. And I remember I just started buying just every single one that I could find, going to the local Sam Goody. Phil, you'll remember Southridge Mall. That was my hangout. I was a mall rat, going to Sam Goody. And every week waiting for another album to come out because I didn't know how these things worked. But I remember going in there, and I mean, this was a band that put out, oh God, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7 studio albums in 5 years, and then a live album as well. I mean, that was a lot of. That's a lot of. That's a lot of albums in a short amount of time. That doesn't happen these days. And so for me, I'm like, what are they? Are they putting one out every week? You know, I was discovering them. But as you know, and as the catalog grew, and that the different, I was starting to get into the different eras of Rush. I'm like, oh my God, he's like becoming this. What is he as a guitar player? Just so spontaneous and creative. But these early tracks where the foundation was laid. This is classic antique. Sorry, Alex, I know you're not that old, but musical antiquity. Dust them off. Just fantastic. Fantastic. And one of the songs on this album he doesn't like, I love Panacea, because it's a classical acoustic song. Well, I shouldn't say that. I play it on classical acoustic. But it has a classical foundation as far as finger picking is concerned. And I'm actually going to, it's been a long time, but I'm relearning it and polishing it up so that I can actually perform it for you guys. Put that in my play along reaction. Let's go check that out, because I do have a handful of his earlier stuff. That's the only thing I have there is playing along to Rush, Alex. Anyways, I'm blah, 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 blah. You guys got it. You guys understand it. You heard it. You experienced it with me. So, there we go. That is episode 7. Now we're going to be moving on to episode 8. All right. God bless you guys. Jesus loves you. Pray for everyone that you can. All right. I will talk to you later. Bye.